Good morning guys and welcome back to the channel. Well, even though you see some videos coming in, it's been a while since I made videos. I make them every now and then, maybe when I have time, and then I publish them calmly. Well, it's been a while since I've been in front of my webcam. What are we talking about today? Well, today we'll talk about several things at once. So we'll talk about the roughness related to the advance of the normal radius, the viper radius or the so-called scraper radius. A few concepts that are always useful to review in turning. As always, I urge you to support my work if you like it. If my content brings you interesting news, and how can you do that? Well, by subscribing to the channel, or even better by subscribing to support my channel. €1 a month to help me keep the channel going, and alternatively without spending €1 by doing your shopping on Amazon through the link you'll find in the description. I have to say that on this side, that is, the one of the channel support, you are a bit strange, but I will explain why at the end, so that you will only listen to me if you want. I will not bother those who only want technical knowledge. So, turning. Turning is by definition a machining operation for the removal of chips from a rotating piece. When we talk about a motorized lathe, we are talking about something that is not part of turning. So we rotate a piece, we attack it. A piece of metal can usually also be made of wood, plastic material, we attack it with an insert. In this case, I simulated a DNMG. In two solutions, PF and WF. PF is a standard insert with a defined and round tool radius. In this case it is a DNMG 150608. That is, inscribed in a circumference of 15 and 06 high. Let's see what this is. Okay. 06 high and with a real 08 tip radius. What happens when I tell my tool, go forward 50 mm at a feed rate of 5 D per revolution? That is already too high if you want, because I remind you that a feed rate, if you don't have any starting data, can be, let's say, approximately 50% of the maximum tool radius in roughing, i.e. 04, or 25%, i.e. 02, of the tool radius in finishing, like this, basic parameters, without knowing how to read or write. Later, if we have a particular R2, things need to be evaluated a bit more thoroughly. But let's say that I do this, I go forward 50 mm, so let's hide my rough part. This is my tool and it goes forward 50 mm. As you can see, let's zoom in. I'm going forward with my DNMG 150608. PF means finishing edge F05, so a significant feed rate. I chose a significant advancement to show you this. These are my tools, my insert. What does my insert do? It creates a sort of thread, so a spiral on the piece that will automatically generate crests. Now we'll section it and let's see that once my advancement has been removed, every turn, let's say, in this 180 degrees area, it will advance by 0.5, that is, the distance between this point and this point is 0.5. On my enlarged piece, it will leave this. Okay? When you place the roughness tester on the piece, the roughness tester, I'll explain it to you in broad terms, will measure the distance between this crest and this cavity in broad terms. Then there's also the issue of spindle axis bearings that aren't working well, so there will be some extra vibrations, but in perfect condition it will measure this and give you a roughness value. Consequently, it is obvious that the wider the insert's nose radius, the lower the opacity value will be, that is, the distance from here to there will be smaller, so I want a smoother piece. At the same feed rate, I increase the tool radius. I decrease the tool radius when, despite everything, I tend to have vibrations. Advantages and disadvantages. A smaller tool radius will vibrate less, but I will have a significantly higher machining time because I will have to reduce the feed rate to obtain the same opacity, and I will have a slightly more fragile insert. Obviously, if I am finishing, fragility counts up to a certain point because I will have an adequate stock allowance. So I decrease the tool radius when I have problems with vibration. I increase it as much as possible to obtain the smoothest possible surface. This is not a rule that applies to all materials. There may be exceptions, superalloys, material that tears or other things, but in general it works like this. Having said that, one day someone had a great idea, but if I were to add a small flat surface behind this tool radius and I had the Viper, here it is. This is the Viper tool now crashed, that is, after having worked the tool radius there is a straight back that kills the roughness, that is, it lowers the roughness a lot. So if I go to Remove, in NMG and I take my piece and work it with a DNMG 1506WF. So slowly, as you can see here I have a degree of continuity, okay? A degree of continuity that ensures that we eliminate the feed. I have almost no difference in height when measuring with the roughness. This would be a dream. Zero roughness is not possible because then when the piece rotates it has small deflections, small vibrations. All those still have repercussions, and even with a new machine there are defects, even micro defects. Of the spindle line, consequently there will always be roughness because in any case we are not working in the air, we are working in contact with bearings, and there is still a grip that generates bending. However, let's say that with the same feed rate with the Viper the roughness is reduced by half, if not even by 1/3, with a problem, obviously it increases the possibility of obtaining vibrations during machining. It goes without saying that if I have a long shaft I will not machine it, especially in the center with a Viper. On the other hand, if I have a large, squat piece, perhaps without holes, therefore that does not sing, gripped well in the chuck, perhaps gripped on tempered clamps because I have to do a second phase. So, the Viper is a solution that greatly reduces my machining times. Be careful. Koramat claims that its machine does not have this problem, but they are not very inclined to believe it because they say, we did not make a straight part, but we made a series of radii that help a lot. But one thing to say about the Viper is that the Viper works well on cylindrical surfaces or straight shoulders, not on inclined surfaces with radii or chamfers. Viper M, whatever I say to all the manufacturers in the world, in my opinion, does not work, or rather, it works like a normal insert. What should I do if the Viper vibrates? Abandon the Viper, right? There is a first solution to try, which is this one to apply, switching from a DNMG, for example, in any case from a negative insert, and in finishing it is always better to use the positive to a positive insert, that is, an insert that cuts only on one side because there is a relief angle here. This insert greatly reduces vibrations. A Viper with a radius of 0.4 will always return a surface with a lower smoothness than even a 1 and 2 with the same feed. Then you have to do 2 tests. Not for all the same brands. So be careful which Viper you are going to use. So if it vibrates, but also if it does not, perhaps the most appropriate choice is always the positive. So, why are you telling me you started talking about a DNG and not immediately about a DCMT? Well, it's a question of costs. This insert can cost €8. Well, this one can also cost €8 for the same, let's say, inscribed insert, but this one has twice the cutting edges, so it essentially costs half as much, so if you can, you use negative for a question of costs, especially on the outside. On the inside, the negative starts to create problems because it is said that it can easily gouge, especially on small diameters, that is, it can engage or graze this area when I work here and that is not good. Well, having said that, I think I've told you pretty much everything. The Viper is a very effective solution for lowering feed rates. It's a solution that is worth adopting in production when you have to make a single piece. Well, maybe not, because if you have to make a piece and it sings, you've already killed the piece that is available. So if you have to make a piece, start from the right part, maybe RO4 DCMT. So positive insert, low feeds, because it's not the cycle time that counts, but rather the programming and testing time. If you have to make many pieces, start thinking about using a Viper, or in any case more delicate or more technical tools, a cermet, a ceramic. If you work with cast iron, it's always an excellent solution. So this is a production issue. Well, I've told you pretty much everything I wanted to tell you about the Viper, the feed, the roughness. It's a bit of a refresher for many. Now I'll tell you again what I wanted to tell you at the beginning, so support the channel because you're strange. You're strange because I have to say that almost no one knows good, very little. You never get any super thanks, you don't spend money on Amazon. Well, with this channel I don't even earn enough money to feed the dog. So why do you do it? Precisely because this channel is a showcase for me. A showcase, you know, because I get a lot of phone calls from people asking me to take a course in a company. And as long as it's in a company, that's fine with me, because a course in a company is. When I go to take a course, I don't ask for 2 cents, I don't ask for the €15 that a professor asks for from a student who has to do math, you know, I ask for a nice hourly fee. And there are those who are willing to give me this hourly fee even as a private individual, which I can't do because I have to issue an invoice, I have a specific task to follow, and then I don't need it. So I work very well with my companies, there aren't even that many of them, they're the ones I need. I don't kill myself with work, but there are people who are willing to give me tens of euros an hour to do the same things that they can. To get I'm not saying the same things, but if you're not in front of a machine, if you're not in a mechanical company, in the end you get the same things. Vasav because, I don't know, they think it's better when everything is already on my channel, but that's why they don't subscribe to support my channel, they don't get a big thank you. When you give me €5, I thank you, I'm the happiest person in the world, but why? Because it's my pat on the back, then I give it to my son, I donate a fortune to him. If I had to live off the channel, I'd starve, I repeat, but it's so strange to receive so many calls from individuals who are willing to pay me between €500 and €600 to do a course, when on the course, without having a machine in front of me, because where do you take the course anyway? You do it at home in private, they come to me, I can't do more than I can on YouTube. Well, the course becomes interesting when you go to the company, you go in front of a machine, you take a drawing, you take the piece, you open the drawer, you teach how to turn the clamps, that's what I do in the courses. Actually, one important thing, no, I'll make a video about the course. The turning course shouldn't be a course for fans, but it should be a course for turners. It's very important to understand the difference between someone who sets up the machine so it can work and someone who simply creates the program. Creating the program is truly the biggest piece of crap on this earth and everything that comes after. So here, this is why you're so strange, willing to pay a lot of money to do what you can do for free if you don't feel like spending a penny on my channel or simply with a purchase on Amazon and make me understand that someone appreciates my work. This is strange. This is strange. Okay, come on. Apart from this thing that God willing won't change my life because this channel, I repeat, is a wonderful showcase for me and helps me a lot. I thank you for being with me. If you have any questions about the Viper and the Orgosity, write them in the comments. Try to contact me privately because if I started giving telephone consultations to everyone who asked me, I would go crazy. Thanks and see you next time. Bye, bye.